I don't want students in my book clubs to be nervous about giving the wrong answer as we are discussing literature. But the reality is sometimes somebody is going to give a response that is definitely off the target of the discussion I am looking to have. So for example, when we were discussing Old School and we were talking about the story arc and the rising action, there were occasionally kids who would give an example of an event on the rising action that actually happened in the falling action, that happened after the climax. So one of the big things I try to do is affirm their answer. You know, I might say something like, that is a really significant event and it's an important one. In fact, I have it in my notes to talk about that very event, but I want to hold that thought because that important event actually happens after the climax. Remember how we were talking about the climax being that school board meeting? That important event you just mentioned actually happens after that. So hold that thought. We're going to come right back to that. But before we get there, I want to talk about a few more events that happened before the climax. So that way we're gently getting back to what I want to share about the rising action, but in a way that no one feels like they're embarrassed or they're way off. Hopefully that affirms their thought that it is significant, it's an important event, and in fact, I had that one in mind to talk about. But first, we get to finish the discussion we are having. So I'm also not letting a group of students walk away thinking that event was part of the rising action. I think it's important that we build our kids' confidence, but also make sure we're steering them in the right direction as they're thinking about literature.